look at this moment from Republican Oregon Congressman Cliff Bentz's town hall.
So you tell those 10,000 people that's okay?
You lost 10% of our workforce.
Shut up and let him talk.
I will not, sir.
With me now is Congressman Bentz from the 2nd District of Oregon. Congressman, were you surprised at all by the frustration you heard from your constituents about these firearms?
No, I don't think I was surprised. That's because I'm going to say at least a half to sometimes 2/3 of the 4 town hall meetings I held were folks that work for the federal government. So I was not surprised that they were upset about the downsizing of the federal agencies out here in Eastern Oregon. No, so I wasn't surprised.
So there are different issues going on. One of them is just the downsizing itself. The other one is the way that the downsizing is being done, with very little transparency, no apparent compassion. I want to read to you what Republican Senator John Curtis from Utah said about the firearms. Quote, he said, I think if there's one thing I could change about the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, it's that it's moving so fast, it's not really factoring in the human element that these are real lives, real people, they have kids, and we're really adding a tremendous amount of stress even to jobs that are not going to go away, unquote. Do you have any issues yourself the way that these layoffs and firings are taking place?
Now, before we go to the way it's happening, just let me say that, as I pointed out at the town halls, that it's never a good thing to lose your job. So I understand why people would be upset about it, particularly a job as well paying and as normally secure, kind of a special class almost that a federal employee enjoys. So no surprise that people would be upset for losing such a good job, particularly out here in the eastern part of our state, which is in many cases very low income. But you are correct. It would be wonderful if we could do it in a more friendly way. But the truth of it is, the way that the protections have been built in legally for federal employees, it's extraordinarily difficult to reduce the size of the workforce in the federal space. And that's why I think you see it happening so abruptly and in a way that is unusual. Ronald Reagan said, many times it's been quoted, government bureau is the nearest thing to an eternal life we'll ever see on this earth. And you can see why when you see how many people show up to try to protect the federal workforce. So yeah, I agree with John Curtis, a good friend, that it could be done less aggressively, but on the other hand, at least it's getting done.
I want you to look at this post from former Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger of Illinois. It says, hey, congressional Republicans, where are your office cuts? Let me ask you, I mean, if it is truly important to reduce the size of the federal government, should Congress show their sincerity, demonstrate your sincerity by making 10% cuts to your staffs?
I would anticipate just such a suggestion, and we in fact discussed it with my staff literally over the past week. So it hasn't been suggested yet by leadership, and if it is so suggested, I will support it. I think everybody has to step up. The Constitution requires that we protect our nation for posterity. We're not doing it. I was accused many times over the last couple of days at these 4 town hall meetings I held of not supporting the Constitution. I would suggest people go back and look at the preamble, which says we're supposed to be concerned about our kids. And so, yes, I'm doing the constitutional hard work of trying to figure out how to shrink our budget down to a point that is somehow sustainable. If that requires that kind of reduction of our staff, so be it.
Republican Congressman Cliff Bentz from the 2nd District of Oregon, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. We should note, we were also supposed to speak with Georgia Congressman